Fragrant Hill, a gem in Beijing, is renowned for its lush green landscape and scenic beauty. During autumn, the hills are enveloped in a vibrant display of red smoke trees, drawing visitors from around the globe to this natural haven. However, beneath its serene surface, Fragrant Hill harbors a chilling secret that adds a layer of mystery to its allure. What if we told you this route to this picturesque setting has a haunting past? This story happened on November 14th, 1995. On a dark, wintry night, the last bus of route number 375 pulled out of the Yuanming Yuan bus terminus. This was the last bus of the night, and its destination was Xiangshan, or the famous Fragrant Hills. On board were the driver and a female conductor. That night, as the bus stopped by the south gate of the Summer Palace, the bitter cold seemed to creep inside. With a gusty wind howling around them, 4 passengers boarded: an old lady, a young couple, and a single young man. The couple sat right behind the driver while the old lady and the young man sat opposite each other near the doors. As they traveled through the quiet, isolated road, the only sound was the monotonous hum of the engine. There wasn't another vehicle in sight, adding a sense of solitude to their journey. As they continued towards their destination, the cold intensified, becoming even more biting and unbearable. After a while, the driver spotted 2 shadows by the side of the road, waving at the bus, indicating it to stop. When the bus stopped and the doors swung open, it first appeared that 2 people were waiting to board. However, as they stepped inside, the passengers were taken aback to discover there were actually 3. It seemed like there were 2 men who were supporting a third man between them, holding him up by his shoulders. The man in the middle looked disheveled, and his head was bowed so nobody could see his face. All 3 were dressed in traditional Chinese robes from the Qing dynasty, and their faces were deathly pale. The other passengers on the bus were scared and glanced nervously at each other as the driver pulled off and continued down the road. Looking at the nervous passengers, the female conductor tried to calm everyone down by saying that there was nothing to be afraid of. The new passengers could be just actors shooting a costume drama in the vicinity. Maybe they got drunk after work and forgot to change clothes. That explanation might have sat well with the rest of the passengers, but the old woman didn't believe the conductor. As the bus raced towards its destination, the old woman kept turning around and staring at the 3 strangers who were seated at the back of the bus. There was an eerie silence. None of the passengers said a word. All they could hear was the wind whistling outside. After 3 or 4 stops, the bus came to a halt, and the young couple got off the bus. The bus driver and the female conductor were chatting and laughing. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the old lady jumped to her feet and hit the young man sitting in front of her. The young boy was taken aback, thinking why suddenly this old woman was beating her and shouting at the top of her voice. He tried to stop her politely, but she kept shouting that the young boy had stolen her purse. In a heated moment, the old woman grabbed the young man by his collar and demanded the driver stop the bus, insisting they go to the police station. Speechless, the young man could only follow as she pulled him off the bus 4 stops before the bus reached the terminus. Once off, the old lady let out a deep breath of relief. Confused, the young man asked why the old woman accused him of stealing her purse and rudely asked where the police station was, as there was no police station in that vicinity. She replied calmly that she knew there was no police station nearby, and told the boy that she just saved his life. "Saved me? How?" he asked, bewildered. The old lady went on to explain that those 3 at the back were ghosts. Ever since they got on the bus, the lady had her doubts about them, so she kept looking back at them. It so happened that there was a wind blowing through the window, and she saw the wind lift their long robes, but she saw that they had no legs. She was scared at the beginning thus. She planned this so that no one would suspect them and they could easily escape. She asked the boy to trust her as she was old and had seen the world more than him. Stunned and unsure what to think, the young man quickly left the bus stop and started walking home, his mind racing with what had just happened. She even requested him to accompany her to the nearest police station. He didn't pay much heed to the old lady and left. Meanwhile, the old lady somehow managed to go to the nearest police station to report the ghostly passengers she believed she had seen. The police listened to her whole story, but they also seemed to ignore the woman. But the old lady was too stubborn to leave without filing the incident. After that, she left, and the police seemed reluctant toward this bizarre complaint. The next day, Bus 375 failed to report to the station. The bus driver and even the conductor failed to report the bus to the station. The management was worried. This kind of incident had never happened before, so they went to the police, hoping to find some answer. All the nearby police stations were alerted, which falls on the route. CCTV cameras were checked, but no one found any trace of the bus. That was weird, they thought. How can a bus vanish into nowhere without any clue? After hearing the old woman's unusual complaint and speaking with the young man, the police realized something even stranger had happened. After the two of them got off, the bus they were on vanished and didn't make any more stops. The city launched a thorough search, but they found no trace of the bus anywhere. 2 days later, the police eventually found the missing bus. It was submerged in the Miyun Reservoir, about 100 kilometers from Fragrant Hills. A task force then took the bus out of the water. They searched the bus, and they discovered 5 dead bodies: the bus driver, the female conductor, and 3 weird bodies. But the police found out something strange. The dead bodies of the driver and conductor were decomposing normally, but the 3 unidentified bodies were badly decomposed, as if they had been dead for years. Even the forensic reports stated the same thing. The 3 unidentified bodies were dead for years. To delve deeper into the mystery, the police reached out to the transportation authorities at the bus depot. There, they uncovered new information that made them question everything. The authorities explained that it was impossible for the bus to have traveled 100 kilometers. The buses are only fueled enough for their specific routes. This bus was supposed to cover just 16 kilometers. Also, these buses get fuel from specific gas stations. So, they couldn't understand how the bus could have had enough fuel to go nearly 100 kilometers. This puzzling detail added another layer of intrigue to the investigation. When the police opened the fuel tank, they found it was filled with blood. After the incident, the police tried their best to solve the mystery, but couldn't debunk it. To this day, the questions remain unanswered. Who were those 3 passengers? Why did the bus disappear? And the most chilling question of all, was the bus really running on blood? The mystery continues to haunt the city, leaving everyone puzzled and intrigued. For years after the eerie incident, many locals avoided taking the last bus on Route 375. The whispers of its haunting journey made even the bravest souls think twice as the chilling tale echoed through the streets at night. To listen to such spine-chilling tales, subscribe to Plotline.